What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So, I don't know if you guys saw the Instagram story, but Shane and me are going to be coming out with I'm coming out with a Klint Kubiak hire review and what I think is going to happen. He's coming out with a Frank Reich review today, and on Friday, Preston's coming out with his Joe Brady and Bills hire and expectations, and then tomorrow we obviously have the three-man podcast with me, Preston, and Shane. Uh, Honestly, if you asked anyone that I knew, this is the only person that I wanted. Him, and then when reports came out that says that he might stay in Seattle, which obviously he didn't, I flipped it to Davis Weber him, but I really just wanted him. I like the idea of a first year head coach and a young head coach meshing with a first year quarterback and a very young quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. I've talked a lot with Shane about that. Shane doesn't really like the idea. He likes a more proven head coach with a young quarterback, but like we said, we'll see. Um, Realistically, we're not going to be good next year. We might have a fluke year, but we're not going to be good. Our whole roster needs a whole new revamp. We have three returning starters on the offensive line in JPJ, Caleb Rogers, and Colton Miller. You need a left guard and a really good right tackle. You may be able to throw in the. You may be able to roll with DJ Glaze at right tackle or Charles Grant at right tackle. The sec coming from a second year from rookie William and Mary from the same year as Caleb Rogers. Obviously you have the best tight end in the league, if not the second best behind Trey McBride. You know, it's 1A, 1B in them. A really good young running back in Ashton Genti. You don't really have a wide receiver one. You have a bunch of wide receiver threes. You have Trey Tucker, Jack Betch, and Dante Thornton. We really thought Dante Thornton was going to take in a role and make a big jump because he had a really good camp, but he can't catch the ball for shit. His nickname is Stonehands. And I really like Dante Thornton. I hope he improves. I hope he meshes into that wide receiver one role. That way we don't have to spend 100 and maybe like $50 million on a wide receiver one when we can maybe have one in house. I don't know. That's Kubiak. Kubiak's tend to like in his offense short 5'11", 6 foot receivers. So we'll see. Maybe Shaheed comes over. I'm hearing that a lot. As of offensive defensive coordinator, right now we do not have anyone. I am looking into, well, we are expected to get the quarterback coach from Seattle to come in as OC, and Kubiak is still calling plays, so that's how that works. DC, maybe Jim Schwartz, because Crosby's not leaving. For anyone who thinks he's leaving, look it up. JLC isn't a respectful source. He has 100 followers and not even verified. You know what that means? Not a reliable source. My source is Max Crosby himself going on the Herd podcast. I'll plug it in the description, and I'll plug the clip in the description of him saying, Vegas is my home. I don't want to leave. This is where I want to win. He didn't talk to Tom Brady because if Tom Brady, he would have been traded already. Even though you can't really trade, but he would have been gone. He would have been caught. He would have been expected. All that. Tom Brady would have came out and said, or John Spivak would have came out and said. But I really like the Klint Kubiak hire. Uh, his offense in Seattle was amazing. His offense in New Orleans was amazing. Everywhere he go, he's been a winner. His offense is flourished. His offense from the year before to when Klint Kubiak came, his Klint Kubiak's offense was up here. The offense before was down here. Now we get into the hard part. What do I think is going to happen in free agency? Who do I think is going to be on the coaching staff, even on OCTC? It's coming out that Derek Carr might be coming back as a QB coach. He's still under contract with the Saints, so I don't know how all that works. We might have to trade for him unless the Saints just, cut him, even though he's retired. But he's still under contract for the next 2 years. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't hate the idea of Derek Carr coming back and being a QB coach. I don't necessarily love the idea because, once again, it's like I don't really know if player coaches really work. Like we saw a whole Antonio Pierce thing, player coach and experiment done. Like obviously, there's rare instances like they played like Davis Webb. He was a quarterback in the league, really good QB coach. Is going to get a lot of. He's on the OC for the Broncos. He's going to get a lot of head coaching looks. I mean, it's just like Derek Carr's been in the league for so long, and I don't know if he was necessarily ready to retire. I think it was more of a medical retirement because obviously his throwing shoulder has been through hell in 2016. Oh, 2016, broke his leg. What I will stand on that. He would have won MVP. We would have won a Super Bowl, and we would have been the next dynasty. But things happen. He breaks his leg. He's never the same. Still the second best, if not the best quarterback in Raiders history next to Rich Gannon. But so what I want in free agency, let's start off where I want free agency. We'll go there, and then we'll go into the draft. So I have the draft. I have it pulled up on my phone. Just excuse me while I go on my phone for a second. But obviously in free agency, I want us to address a lot of the needs. I need a linebacker. You need a linebacker one, a linebacker two. You need an outside linebacker. You need an outside linebacker two. You need all the D tackles and left end. You don't need a right end because of Crosby, and you need a cornerback one, cornerback two. Cornerback two is Darren Porter, 6'4", showed flashes good, showed flashes bad. The whole thing. You got two safeties coming back. You don't need a safety. Maybe get a little depth. Resign Lonnie Johnson. Maybe. I mean, he got hurt, but he came back. He wasn't that bad. Uh, just excuse me for a couple of seconds. There we go. Sorry, I had to look in our me press and change group chat for this. So I had us. I don't know what's gonna happen now, but I really did have us trading Michael Mayer for like a fourth. I love Michael Mayer personally, but obviously Brock Bowers. But Klint Kubiak does like to run a lot of 12 personnel, so don't be shocked if Michael Mayer is still on this roster. So with this free agency class, I had us spending a lot of money. So I want Devin Lloyd necessarily. I don't think he's gonna come to Devin. I don't think he's gonna come here. I really don't. So I had us going after Jacoby Dean, 3 years, $12 million every year. So that brings it to $36 million over 3 years. That's a good deal for a not. He's a veteran linebacker. Like he's coming off his rookie deal, but he's a great pass coverage. He's not that big, so he can be more of like a linebacker two role. Maybe a linebacker one if he grows into it. Maybe if our DC comes in, learns from a lot of other players. But for people saying we should bring back, people say we should bring back Landon Roberts. People we should bring back Devin White. No, Devin White had all these tackles. Congratulations. Tackles is because they couldn't. Our run defense sucked. Besides Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz down here. He obviously came off the torn ACL, but he was really good before the torn ACL, towards ACL, and they sucked. Didn't have a D tackle. Christian Wilkins touched Geno Smith's private part, and guess what? He's gone. So your whole defense of line was gone besides Crosby, and Crosby was out for a while. People are saying, oh, he wants to leave because he was shut down. He tore his meniscus. You can't play on a torn meniscus. You can't. But the reason I get so passionate about this is because my dad brought me into this. He told me didn't have a choice. I was a Raiders fan and I loved it, and I still love it. It's on my keychain. It's on this. I have this. I have a hat. I have a bunch of jerseys. I have a poster. I have a signed ball by Josh Jacobs on signed poster. But I'm tired of just being ass. I mean, we've had two winning seasons since 2002, so 24 years now, and it's been 2016 where Derek Carr broke record, and 2021 where we got bullshitted by the Bengals. We should have won that game. We didn't. Shit happens. They go on to lose the Super Bowl. Well, other than that, it's been top five pick, and then you had the Brock Bowers at 12. We have been the laughing stock. I wouldn't say the laughing stock. I'm sorry, Shane, but you got the Jets and you got the Browns. But we suck. And we're still a laughing stock of the league. Like, people are like, oh, like, we guys got Devontae Adams, everything's going to be different. We went to the playoffs, and then after that, shit. I'm just tired of it. So I think if you want to take the approach and you want to be competitive in this league, you're going to have to spend your money. And this is a free agency class where it's a little bit subpar, but it's a free agent class where you could fill a lot of holes. So, as we're getting to that, I said Nakobe Dean. I have us signing Cam Robinson, the tackle from the Browns. He's a bit old, but he can be a little bridge. He can mentor Charles Grant and maybe mentor DJ Glaze so they can be ready. I have him coming in on a 1-year, $7 million deal. I have Evan Neal coming in on a 1-year, $5 million deal. Like Shane mentioned, we got to start throwing darts at the board. Evan Neal has been a very bad first round pick, very high first round pick for the Giants. And as Colin Johnson would say, he wants Evan Neal off his team ASAP. He wants it gone. He wants but I don't think I don't think he's a product of just being bad because everyone knows Evan Neal was a very good run blocker and pass blocker in college. I think it's just the heavy criticism and it's the New York Giants. So I think if he comes in to a new scenery with the new players and especially a new head coach with Klint Kubiak, I think he can flourish. And if he doesn't flourish, he doesn't flourish. That's for the 1 year deal. It's like a prove it deal. Someone who also I have coming on a prove it deal is Malcolm Kuntz again. You give him a 1 year deal, maybe a 2 year deal at like, I don't know, 6.5 mil. You get it. So if it's 2 years, it's $13 million over 2 years. But I don't know. I mean, I've always been a really big fan of Kuntz. You can ask Shane, like, I thought Max Crosby and him were going to be what Tyree Wilson was supposed to be. Speaking of Tyree Wilson, he's going to get cut. I hate to say it. People were like, he was like, oh, he's an athletic freak, his wingspan and all that. He's huge, he's jacked. He can't pass rush for shit. He doesn't have a move. We tried moving him to D tackle. I mean, he did a little bit better this year. Maybe he comes back in his 5th year, or well, this is his last year on his rookie deal if we don't pick up his 5th year, which I don't expect us to because that's a lot of money for a top 10 pick. But this is sort of like a prove it deal for him. So if you want to stick it in with Tyree Wilson, you don't bring back Kuntz. But I think you bring back both because you don't know what you're going to get with either. Now we get into the re-sign with Eric Stokes. Eric Stokes was a corner we brought in because Nate Hobbs is gone. And sad to say it, I wanted to see Nate Hobbs go. I respect him as a player. I loved watching him. He was just always hurt. And he got paid by the Packers, and it just kept going. He got hurt. He got hurt this season. He barely played, but he's one of the few corners that will come up and hit stick someone. I will say that. He is a very good tackling corner. He's a very good nickel corner. But Eric Stokes led up 253 yards receiving this year. And it's going to fly under the radar because the Raiders sucked. So, I think if we give him a favorable contract, he will return. So I have it on a 3 year, $10 million a year deal. So 3 years for 30. He's only 25. He's not that old. I thought he was older. He seems like he's the type of player that's like really young, but it seems like he's been in the league forever. Like, I thought Devin Lloyd was in the league forever. He's only 25. Just how it goes. Now you get into a little interior D lineman hole, like a plug a hole for a year. I got Jordan Elliott coming in for $2.3 million, vet minimum, you would say, vet minimum. And then the big signing, Alec Pierce. So, I know I said I don't really want to pay wide receiver money and all that, but Alec Pierce is what Fernando Mendoza needs. He needs a reliable target. Alec Pierce is a reliable target. Do I have him getting a lot of money? I have Alec Pierce getting a lot of money. I have Alec Pierce getting 4 years, maybe 5, $28 million a year. When I say this, it's because the wide receiver free agency market is George Pickens, Alec Pierce, Juwan Jennings, and then dropped. He's going to get that money anywhere else. He's going to get it from the Titans. He's going to get it from us. He might get it from the Patriots. He might get it from the Seahawks. He might get it from the Colts. He might get it from. There's a lot of other teams, especially since the cap is going from jumping $20 million this year. Now, I think we have an appealing offer for Alec Pierce. We have Genty, we have Bauer, so it takes a little bit of the load off him. Obviously, if a wide receiver comes into our offense, he's going to be labeled as a wide receiver 1, but he's not going to be option 1. He's going to be option 2. Brock Bowers is going to stick in an option 1, right? But Alec Pierce brings something that I like from a wide receiver standpoint. He will jump up the ball. He's not afraid of that. He's not afraid of contact. His route running is crispy. It reminds me a lot of Hunter Renfrow, and his jump ball is a lot more like Tay. I'm not saying he's going to be like the baby of them two, but like it's like he's a good wide receiver. Me personally, do I think he's worth this much money? No, but I think it's just because his wide receiver class is so shallow in talent and more like wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3s, and not a lot of wide receiver 1s. Like, obviously, you have George Pickens, who's going to get $35 million a year, and Alec Pierce is going to get something around that range, hopefully a little bit less. But realistically, I think he either re-signs with the Colts, he comes with us, or he goes to the Browns or the Titans. I know it's a lot of destinations, but I want a wide receiver 1. I haven't had a wide receiver 1 since Devontae Adams, and obviously we had Jacoby Myers. But as a lot of people like to say, Jacoby Myers isn't a wide receiver 1. He got traded to the Jags. He's not a wide receiver 1. He's a wide receiver 2. But he wants wide receiver 1 money. That's why we traded him at the deadline. We weren't going to be competitive. So we got something out of him. I'm happy we did that, and I'm happy he got his extension, and I'm happy he went to the playoffs. He deserves it. Okay, sorry, I went a little bit of a rant, but we're gonna go into the draft now. Round one, pick one, Mendoza. I don't need to say a lot about that. That he's gonna turn our franchise around. I believe it. I believe with the new head coaching staff. I believe it with this new sort of I don't want to say aura. He's going to turn our franchise around. Now into round two, we fixed our offensive line. We get Emmanuel Pregnon. Now Emmanuel Pregnon was mocked from us to the Cardinals to the Jets, back to us to the Cardinals to the Jets. It rotates every little mock draft. I hope he falls to us. I really like this tape at Oregon. He protected Dante Moore, and he has a very good statue, and I think he has a really good base, really good footwork. Now, you ask me, why is he going to fall? This offensive line class is deep as fuck. There's a lot of good offensive linemen. And sure enough, guards usually fall more than tackles. Tackles are more important. Well, not important. Tackles are more sought out after because they're off the edge rushers, and the edge rushers are more fast. So you're gonna have Francis Malgoa go in the top five. You might have you got Lamu going in the first round, Proctor going in the first round. I forgot who else we had going in the first round, but those who I have. Now in round three, we have pick 67. But Jacob Rodriguez, he is a bit older. He was the best linebacker in the country. He was in the Heisman running. The reason he's going to fall is because one, linebackers don't really tend to go in the first couple rounds, and two, he is very, very old for a college player coming out of college. I want to fact check that for you guys, but I'm pretty sure he's somewhere around 24. He's 24. He's turning 24. So he's obviously he's a little bit older than a lot of college prospects are, so that's going to tank his little draft stock. He might be a late second. He's definitely going to be an early third. But I think that if you bring in someone like Jacob Rodriguez and he knows he's a bit more mature. Obviously, he's going to be 24 and he can learn the defense. Obviously, linebacker primes aren't that large. There's very few exceptions, like Bobby Wagner. You have Fred Warner still in the league, but you still like these linebackers are very sought after because they're the leaders of your defense. And I think Jacob Rodriguez can be a leader of this defense for a couple of years, and then eventually mentor the people coming back in and out. Now, not saying he's not a good football player. He's a very good football player, and he is one of my sleepers because he's technically a sleeper as like a day 3 pick. And honestly, Jacob Rodriguez has the talent to be a first round pick. Not a second round pick, sorry. He's just not linebackers aren't really sought after. Like they are obviously you're gonna see linebackers go in the first round, but he's let me check this. Hold on. Where's his height and weight? He's a bit undersized at 6'1". You really want to have like a 6'2", 6'3" frame. I don't know how much he weighs. Hold on. Like I said, he's a bit older. He's 23 turning 24. You don't really want to see that in a rookie. That's why he's going to drop. How much does he weigh? 230. In the Senior Bowl that me and Shane went over, his drafts, he looked like an NFL ready linebacker. He was guarding running backs out of the backfield. He was guarding slots. He was being a very good leader onto the field. I think that he's going to be very good, and I hope that we get him because God knows our linebacker needs our help. So in round 4, I'm picking Day'Lon Everett. He's a corner out of Georgia. This is something to come in for CB3, maybe challenge CB2 for Darian Porter. I really do like Darian Porter. He's the corner that ran a 4.3 or 4.40. He's 6'4". He's out of Iowa. He is a project. We knew that from the start. He came in. He didn't really play week 1 through 4. He played week 5, really shit the bed. Didn't really have a lot of playing time after that. Came back in week 7, week 8. It was just the same. Pete Carroll benched him for a little bit, and then week 13 came, and he really showed why he was a project. But he kind of ramped it up towards the end of the season, and I'm excited to see what he does in the camp. I'm excited to see what he does in this season. So in round 4, pick 114, because we have another 4th round pick from Jacoby Myers, I have us taking Charlie Becker. So this isn't me saying, I'm sorry, I'm not taking, that's the next pick. I have us taking Harold Perkins at 114, the outside linebacker from LSU. Once again, outside linebackers are like edge, they're they can do a lot. I want to see them be able to cover the pass. I want to see them be able to rush the pass. I want to see them be able to cover the field. Harold Perkins Jr. was someone I was high on in coming into last season. He had a bit of a down year. Hold on. Yeah, he had a like he is 6'1", 225, 222. He had a bit of a down year. He only had 26 tackles with 4 sacks and a forced fumble. He did have 3 picks though. He has this is obviously his best season was in 23 when he had 74 tackles, and then obviously 24 he didn't really have that good of a year. I'm pretty sure he got hurt. In 25, this is why he's gonna fall. I think that it's a good pickup. We can pair him with Jacob Rodriguez and, like I said, Nakobe Dean. It's very young linebacking core, but I think it'll mesh very well since it's not like one to vet. For the love of God, Raiders, if any of you are watching this, I know you're not, but do not sign Devin White. He can't cover water in the ocean. And don't resign Ty Blue Kelly. Oh my God. Whew. Sorry, I hate them too. They can't cover anything. We get into round four, pick 134. I'm taking Eli Reardon, tight end at Notre Dame. That's if we trade Michael Mayer. That can go either way. If we don't trade Michael Mayer, obviously we're not picking a tight end in round four. Round five, I have us taking Aaron Graves, the tackle 3 out of Iowa. I think this is the big boy, if I'm not mistaken. I really want. Obviously, we don't have D tackles. We have John Ulalu coming back. But other than that, this guy is 6'5", 300. Yeah, he's a big boy. He can move. He has DC. He doesn't really have that big of a bag in pass rush moves and run pressure, but he's a very good run stuffer. He had 5 sacks and a pick, which is a pick is what's like giving me versatile. I think he also had 17 tackles. Obviously, he doesn't have the best stats, but D tackles aren't really going to have the best stats. So we're going to get into round six now, and I'm taking Noah Whittington, running back out of Oregon. So, as we saw in the Seahawks offense this year, they ran a lot of they ran a lot of Walker and Charbonnet. Now, Genty's obviously, I don't want to, he's a better athlete than Kenneth Walker. He is going to be way better than Kenneth Walker next year. But you bring in Noah Whittington. I really liked him out of Oregon. I really liked him in the Peach Bowl. He really shined, but he's gonna fall because I don't even think he was. I don't. There was another running back from Oregon. He was. It was more of a split backfield, so that's gonna obviously hurt your draft stock. But if you could snag him and run with like what let's say run what the Dolphins ran this year, 90-10 split with Genty with A Chain and Ollie Gordon, and you run it with Genty and Whittington, I think you have you have a potential for a two-headed monster backfield. Now, I know some of my takes are very outrageous, but as maybe Shane would like to clarify in his draft video, my takes usually work out. There's some takes where they don't work out, but most of my takes aren't like they mostly work out. They mostly tend to be true. Now, what do I think our floor is? Our floor is probably going to be 3 wins, maybe 4. Our ceiling is probably going to be more of 7 or 8 wins, and what I think we're going to go, maybe like 6-11, which is obviously better, and I wouldn't be mad. I would like to see that's progress, but the only thing is that if we don't trade Max Crosby this year, you can kiss him goodbye next season if we don't go like to 500. I love Max. I have a lot of his jerseys. He saw my Instagram stories a couple times. Liked a couple of them, but as a Raider, and I'm pretty sure as a I don't want to see him go, but I also want to see him win. He deserves a ring. He's the hardest worker. I don't know if you guys know, but Klint Kubiak said he was the first person in the building before anyone. He's in the building at 5 a.m. That's hard to come from a player, and that's why I like him, and that's why no one wants to see him leave. But at some point, you got to ask yourself: is when the fuck are we gonna stop being ass? And he's signed extensions on top of extensions, and he's been through a lot of head coaches. John Gruden, he's been through Gruden, he's been through Pierce, he's been through McDaniels, he's been through uh Basacci, he's been through Carroll, he's been through Pierce, he's gonna go through Kubiak. But Kubiak's gonna be. I really hope Kubiak's gonna be here for the long haul. But as I just named, I think that's like one. Gruden, Pierce, This isn't an order, by the way. Gruden, Pierce, McDaniels, Pisacci, Carroll, and now Kubiak. So that's six. I might be, and Greg Oden if you want to count it. So seven. But at some point, you got to ask yourself, as an owner, as a GM, and as a coach, is he's 28, turning 29. He doesn't have that much of a prime left. He's going to be very good, like he is every year. He's been hurt the last 2 years. Your max value for him is right now and the year after this year. If we are bad next year, you trade him. And coming from a Raider fan, as me, that hurts to say because I really want him to see him retire Raider, just like I want to see a Cleo Mack retire Raider. And I wanted to see a Amari Cooper retire Raider. I mean, Amari Cooper technically did retire Raider, but what sucks for Max is that you saw the playoffs once, and we lost that playoff game off some bullshit. I don't know if you want to look back, but Joe Burrow stepped out, and it wasn't called. That's either here or that's 5 years ago, and there's no excuse for us being shit for the next 5 years. So I don't think if we're at least competitive this year, I think he's gone. I think I agree with Shane. I think it's time for him to go. I don't want him to go. I know no one else in Vegas wants to go. I know the whole fan base does want him to go. But at some point, you got to realize that football players don't really last that long, especially edge rushers. Primes don't really last that long, and they're going to want to win. And I know Crosby's never going to leave, and I really hope he doesn't leave. But there comes a time and a point where it's like, we're ass, and we're going to be ass for a while. And I liked what we're doing now because you got John Spytek coming out, and he said we are in rebuild mode. We are not. We are doing it right this time. And I hope I was speaking to my dad. I hope this is like a 2 year rebuild because we do have the cheeses for a 2 year rebuild, and now we have the coach to do it. So I really hope that we do it right. But that will be it for me today. Expect Shane's Jets video. I think he might be uploading it tonight, maybe tomorrow. Obviously, we have the podcast tomorrow. Very hyped for that. Shane has a collab on Monday with his friend from Insider NY Sports. Go check it out. I might be joining them. I don't know though. I think it's going to be just Shane. But we're gonna be doing, I think, 2 or 3 more podcast episodes next week. On top of that, we're gonna be doing one on Thursday this week and maybe one on Saturday too. I think we're gonna get 2 more episodes in this week. We're gonna be pumping out a bunch of content. We're brainstorming. We have a bunch of ideas already. We're still brainstorming more. Like we're taking this very seriously. And thank you for being on the ride. Subscribe, follow, check out our Instagram, check out our TikTok, turn on notifications so you don't miss another one. It's been real. This is Aidan. Thank you for watching.